Hello. This video is not going to be a positive one, and it might even be a little bit ranty. I do not endorse, condone, or anything of that nature for what is currently happening inside World of Tanks with these loot box systems. And right now it is 9 o'clock at night, nearly, and I should really be just chilling out and not really making this video currently. Wargaming announced a new event, which is called Operation Pandora, but the event has really nothing to do with this video. For the first time ever, there is going to be tiered loot boxes inside World of Tanks. There is the Proto, the Alpha, and the Prime. But also for the first time in World of Tanks, this means that what you put in, you can't really guarantee what you're going to get. The way loot boxes will work previously, if you look at Holiday Ops, for example, there is a set amount of tanks, and there is a pity system at a set amount of boxes. That means that after a set amount of boxes, you're going to be guaranteed all of the tanks. But as you're going to see with these calculations, it is technically possible, and I need to stress this though, that it is highly unlikely that you might not end up with all of the alpha tanks. Which means that there is actually not a cap on the amount of boxes that you could spend to then guarantee yourself the vehicles. And I need to obviously stress this again. This is incredibly unlikely, but it is possible. Now, the actual probability of this is like 0.00000 with like 10 zeros behind it, 1%. Right? It is extremely unlikely. But the fact that that is a thing is worrying. This is genuinely the first loot box system which actually I cannot tell you how many boxes it will be to get the vehicles. Before we go into a spreadsheet and full calculations, I need to tell you what you can and can't get from these boxes. The Proto boxes do not contain gold, unless you buy the bundle, in which case then you'll get 100 gold and a ×5 XP mission for whatever amount of boxes you bought. So for example, if you bought a bundle which has 10 Proto boxes in it, you will get 1000 gold and 10 ×5 missions. The only boxes that contain gold are the Prime boxes, which we'll move on to in a second. There is no gold compensation for tanks you already own. This means that if you go all the way to the pity system at 50 boxes and you still haven't got a tank, you will be dropped a tank, sure, but the compensation will actually be a Prime box instead of the gold value of that vehicle. Now that we've got all of that out of the way, it's now time to look at what you can get from these boxes, starting out with the Proto boxes. There is a 20% chance you will get another box, which doesn't specify which box it is, which from my assumptions, this means that it is a 33% chance for each box. It would actually be 33.33333 recurring until you get 100%. There is a 100% chance that you're going to either get some credits or a crew book, 100% chance that you are going to get one personal reserve, and it will either be XP, credits, or crew XP/free XP, and there is a 50% chance that you're going to get either 1, 3, or 7 days of World of Tanks premium account. But moving on to the tanks, there is a 2% chance that you're going to get dropped a premium vehicle. Unless you unbox 49 of them and you still haven't got a tank, on that 50th box, you will be guaranteed one of these. There is the Kampfpanzer III GST term, the VCS 6x6, and the whatever that is. They are all the new tanks that are in the game. There is still the AMBT, the Grom, Jagdtiger Prototype, T-44-100, AET-60, Emil 1951, and the T-77, which are also in these boxes. So if they're in your recovery for whatever reason, make sure you've got them back into your garage before you unbox any of these. The new vehicles I will probably be mostly playing on stream. I'm not sure if I'm going to make full videos on them. I don't know if I honestly have time with the amount of new vehicles that are in this, but I will eventually get around to making videos on all of these. It will probably take me some time. For the alpha boxes, again, there is a 20% chance to drop another box. There is also 100% chance that it's going to drop either 1,500, 5,000, or 25,000 free XP. There is also a 75% chance that it's going to drop 3, 7, or 14 days of World of Tanks premium account, or 2 personal reserves for these, or crew books. There is also a 15% chance that you will unbox 100, 200, 500 components, or it will be 3, 5, or 10 ×5 missions. There is also a 5% chance that it is going to drop either a tier 9 or a tier 10 vehicle. The tier 10 vehicle is the BZ72-1, which was in the auction a while ago. The tier 9s are the UDES 03 Alt 3, the Kampfpanzer Eric Concept 1, which is the Keck tank, and the E77. There is also the Medved, which is brand new. The Medved is a tier 9 vehicle as well. On top of all of this, there is a 50% chance that it is going to drop a 3D attachment as well, so you could get one of these out of the boxes as well. Important takeaways from this box in particular is that it is every 40th box that you're going to get a guaranteed vehicle drop. It is not 50 like with the Proto boxes. And finally, moving on to the Prime boxes, and these are the big ones. 20% chance that is going to drop another box, as always. There is also 100% chance that is going to include gold. It will either be 750, 1,500, or 3,000. And similar to what the alpha boxes give, there is a 75% chance that is one of the following. It is either 7, 14, or 30 days of premium, or it's going to be 6 personal reserves, or the crew books. And then 30% chance of one of the following for this, a male crew member with enough XP for 1, 2, or 3 perks. So again, more percentages chance that you might get 1, 2, or 3 perks from that, which is kind of baffling. Or it's going to be 200, 500, or 1,000 components. Or again, you could get 10, 20, or 50 times 5 missions. Remember, only one of these out of both of these areas you're going to get. And the vehicles that you can get are tier 9 and tier 10. There is the, whatever that is, Velociraptor, the MBTB, and the Chieftain Mark 6. A tank I have been waiting for what feels like a lifetime. And that is a 10% chance to get one of these vehicles. And also there is a 100% chance that you're going to get a 3D attachment, one of these down here. Again, important key takeaways from this is that every 20th box, there is the pity mechanic to give you one of the vehicles. We now move on to probably what most of you have been waiting for, the spreadsheet. Me and my team have been working on this spreadsheet, and I need to preface this, it's not perfect. The problem is that the drop rates are not published. What I mean by this is when it says 20% chance to drop another box, what are the percent chances of each different box? We have to assume that it is 33.33 to give an even chance. The same way that what are the drop rates for the 50, 100, 250, or any of the following that says only one of the following, what are those drop rates? They are not published, so we do not know, and we have to make guesses. This is why this spreadsheet is not 100% accurate, because we do not know. I can give you my best guess, and we can go for luck dependency, but for the drop rates for the boxes, for example, we are just going for 33.33. The same way that the credits chance, we are just going for 50%. There is a chance of credits in comparison to the manuals, but we don't actually know that. So now that you're aware of just how accurate this spreadsheet is, we're now going to be discussing how much it's all going to cost you, depending on how lucky or unlucky you are as well. Starting out, the cost of a box. This, I'm not too sure, is 100% accurate. It is $1.44. But I'm not too sure whether that is the lowest possible one considering bundles, etc. This is the only thing I have to go off so far, so we're going to leave it at my local currency, which is £1.08p. Below that, you then have the Proto tanks owned, and you also have the Alpha tanks owned. Because obviously, if you own them, there is no chance of you actually getting them. You're only going to be guaranteed the other tanks that you don't already have. Until such time as you then have all of the tanks from that collection, and then you get dropped the Prime box with compensation. In here, we obviously have the amount of boxes purchased, and then the amount of money spent corresponding to this. We then have the scenario, which is the average most people are going to have when they open up their boxes. We then have the worst case, and then we have a very lucky chance. And your luck factor as well increasing here. Honestly, we're just going to be mainly focusing on the average and the worst case scenario. The luck factor is more just for fun. Below that, we then have the juicy stuff, which is the amount of Proto tanks, Alpha tanks, and Prime tanks you're going to get, predicted to get, from the amount of boxes that you open, depending again on your luck. You then have the amount of gold that you're going to get, and this is approximated because of the fact that Prime boxes also give you gold, and there is a factor again in there with the amount of gold that you're going to get. Obviously, the amount of boxes you purchase, you're guaranteed 100 gold from each box, although it's actually just given outright with the amount of boxes. You don't actually get the gold from the box. And there is also an approximation for the credits, although again, we do not know the drop rates, so it's kind of hard to actually come up with this. I will leave this spreadsheet available to you, and if anybody wants to go in and have a look at the calculations, etc., then go ahead and do so. It is going to be up for everybody to view. But let's say that you open up 1,000 boxes, which is going to cost you £1,080, and you have an average drop rate. You also do not own any of the Proto tanks or the Alpha tanks. This means you are going to get all of the Proto tanks and all of the Prime tanks but you're not necessarily going to get all the alpha tanks. Because remember, there's 4 alpha tanks in here. Actually, there is 5 alpha tanks. I completely forgot there is 4 that you can already own. And you're only getting 3. That means according to mine and my team's assumptions, you could spend £1,000 on these boxes and not get all the tanks. And if you're super, super unlucky and you only went for the pity mechanic, you might not end up with any alpha tanks. Because think about it. You might get dropped a proto box and a prime box. In fact, the prime boxes are more likely because once you go ahead and get all of the proto tanks, the box that is going to drop as compensation is then going to be a prime box. You may never ever see an alpha box. Again, I do need to stress though that this is quite unlikely and the chances are you will see alpha boxes. Yeah, this is a worst case scenario and this is disgusting. And also the fact that you're £1,000 deep and you might not even get all of the prime boxes as well. But I think the main takeaway from this is the fact that it's over £1,000 to actually go ahead and give yourself a decent chance of getting all the tanks. And now I need to obviously go back and say that we do not know all the percentages, but going off of an even split with the box drop rates of the first one with a 20% chance and then even split across all of the different boxes, it's insane. So no, at the end of this video, I don't think that you should buy boxes. I don't think that these are worthwhile. And I think it's disgusting, to be quite honest with you. See you later.